Who's hungry, folks? Who's hungry? I know I am, and you can cook a nice meal with Hexclad cookware. Look at these pots, these pans. They are fantastic. Get 10% off with promo code chat at hexclad.com. We'll tell you a little bit more about their cookware later on in the show, including a celebrity chef that signs off on their products. Jaylon Johnson is back. Round of applause. He is back at OTAs after missing the first couple of weeks of voluntary workouts. He said on radio last week that he would be back this week, and he has lived up to that declaration. He has arrived at Hallis Hall. Now, the media was not at Hallis Hall on Tuesday. They're there tomorrow on Wednesday, so we should have more specific on-field reports from tomorrow to discuss. But Bears Twitter and Instagram put this out. Strictly business, and one of the photos was Mr. Jaylon Johnson. So not only is he there, it looks like he's working out too. Like, you know, some people thought, well, with this contract situation, maybe he will just show up and not participate. But no, that doesn't appear to be the case. Looks like he is out there working out and competing. And that's a very, very good thing because he's your leader of that cornerback room. There's no doubt about it. This is his fourth year. He's been around, fourth-year guys for this roster. You're a veteran. There's no way around it. Tyreek Stevenson, a guy who I project to start, is a rookie. Kyler Gordon, second-year player. I mean, even other guys, Jalen Jones, Terrell Smith, second-year guy, rookie guy, Blackwell, second-year guy. A lot of youth out there, and Jaylon Johnson is the leader of that group, and he's the best player you got at corner by a pretty good margin. So it's good to see your CB1 back in the mix of things as he is back at Hallis Hall. Obviously, the contract stuff is potentially ongoing and not necessarily completely resolved, but I'm glad to see him out there and getting acclimated with his new teammates and so on and so forth. Now, are you excited to have Jaylon Johnson back? If you are, like this video. I don't know why you wouldn't be excited. He's the best cornerback on this team. He should have another good season here, and if he does, that bodes well for him to get paid. So like this video if you're excited for Jaylon Johnson to be back at Hallis Hall. Now, speaking of that note of him wanting to get paid, that still is there, right? Like, it's not like he shows up and all of a sudden he doesn't care about money. He's eligible for a contract extension. He wants a new contract. Just because he's now there and participating doesn't mean that has changed. I still think it's something to keep an eye on. I'm not panicked about it. Like, I think him arriving after saying he would is a good sign. He had some family stuff going on. He also did an event, a golf charity event for his nonprofit. So he's been doing some other things. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be completely smooth sailing. Like, he could decide to hold out a training camp. Who knows? We'll see what happens between now and then. As far as him getting paid and what that could look like, would he become a top 10 highest paid corner? I don't know if he's a top 10 corner. Like, if you ranked all the corners in the NFL, is he top 10? That's probably a stretch. I've called him a tier 2 CB1, whereas he's a top number 1 corner for this team, and for some other teams he would be, but he's not like that elite corner, right? Like, he's not Jaire Alexander. He's not peak Jalen Ramsey, but I think he's better than some players on this list. I think he's better than Xavier Howard at this point. I think he's better than J.C. Jackson. I think Marshon Lattimore actually struggled last year. So I would pay Jaylon Johnson. You see Darius Slay, Carlton Davis down there, less than $15 million. If I'm Johnson, I probably want to top those guys. I want to get $15 million per year. At least 14 is probably what I would hope for. And, that'd be a pretty good deal for him because he has missed some games. He has had some, not the most productive seasons in terms of taking the ball away. His coverage skills are excellent, and he's graded out such, but only 1 pick in 3 years. Now, I projected this contract for him. 3 years, $42 million, 29 guarantee. It's basically a 2+1, and then $14 million average. And if you do that now and you morph it into this year as well, it really turns into like a 4-year, $45 million contract or $44 million contract. $11 million a year for a, maybe not a true number 1 corner, but a tier 2 CB1, that's a pretty good deal. If I'm Ryan Poles, I'm really interested in trying to get that done. Now, subscribe to the channel. Just want to say thank you and a round of applause to every one of our subscribers. We hit another threshold, 67,000 here on the channel. Would love to hit 70,000 before week 1. We'll see if we can make that happen. Obviously, these next couple of months, things are a little bit slower, but we're still plugging out videos every single day. So join the family, subscribe. I promise you this, if Jaylon Johnson gets a contract extension, we will be breaking it down here on Chicago Bears Now. Okay, a bit of a rumor that has been circulating. Those post-June 1st articles have been coming out, and CBS Sports named Shaq Barrett is a player that could get cut with Tampa Bay potentially, having a down year. Maybe they want to clear some cap space. We'll talk about that and explore whether or not the Bears could be a team that tries to poach Shaq Barrett. But first, I want to talk about our sponsor, and that is HexClad. Show you guys their pot a little bit earlier, pots and pans, of course. Guys, it's time to talk about your kitchen. And no, I'm not talking about your roommate's dishes in the sink. I'm talking about our sponsor, HexClad. They have revolutionized the cookware industry with a hybrid pan that gives you all of the convenience and cleanup of nonstick, the versatility of your grandma's cast iron, and a lifetime warranty just in case you find a way to destroy them. Hopefully you won't, but if you do, you'll be good to go either way. Use promo code CHAT at hexclad.com/chat to get 10% off. HexClad truly checks every single box when it comes to picking your cookware. They are metal utensil safe, dishwasher safe, and oven safe up all the way to 500 degrees. Don't take my word for it. How about celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay? He uses these products at home as well. They're the sexiest pans on the market as well. They look good. They function well. Score points at home. Stop ordering delivery food and start cooking like a big boy right now with HexClad. Real cuisine is not made in the microwave. It's cooked in a HexClad pot or pan. For a limited time, get 10% off with code CHAT at hexclad.com/chat. That's 10% off at hexclad.com/chat, promo code CHAT. Look what Gordon Ramsay has to say. The sear I can get with these pants is incredible with absolutely no stick. The temperature control is utter perfection, and the cleanup is effortless. I love using HexClad at home. I can echo those sentiments. My wife and I love to cook quite often, and especially since we're on a budget now with our son PJ here. These pans, these pots, they're just awesome. They look good. They're clean. You can throw them in the dishwasher, and they just perform at a very high level. Hexclad.com/chat, code CHAT, get 10% off. Okay, Shaq Barrett. Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports had this to say. He says, briefly one of the game's most dominant edge rushers, Barrett is now 30 years old, coming off an injury-shortened season, and due a whopping $21.3 million in 2023, just as Tampa Bay appears to be bracing for a down year post-Tom Brady. Few clubs are likely to absorb his contract via trade, but the Bucs could save $14.6 million by sending him to the open market. A handful of contenders would surely sniff around at that point, considering the former All-Pro as a rotational pass rusher. Now, CBS briefly mentioned him. Could they trade him? Well, his cap hit $21.2 million this year, $23.6 next year. I don't see a lot of teams out there even considering trading for him, considering he had a down year last year, and I definitely don't think the Bears will be that team. But he could get cut, and the Bucs still save almost $15 million if they cut him or trade him. Doesn't matter. They save the same amount as a post-June 1 designation, regardless of cut or trade. For the Bears, again, they will not trade for this contract. I'm very confident in just reading how Ryan Poles has operated. They're not going to trade for that big of a deal for an aging player. But if he were to get cut, signing him, I think, would be a real option. The Bears have said they're interested in a lot of free agents. Edge is a position of need, in my opinion. I got to think the Bears think that way as well. I think they want to continue to get through these OTAs and maybe even mandatory minicamp before they take another evaluation of their roster. But they can't possibly think that a foursome of DeMarcus Walker, Rasheem Green, Dominique Robinson, and Travis Gibson is adequate enough. Now, I think Gibson and Robinson can play better this year. I like the additions of Green and Walker, but adding one or two more guys to the mix I think would really, really help. Now, Shaq Barrett last year had injuries, only played in 8 games, had 3 sacks. But if you played all 17, you're probably looking at 6 or 7 sacks. And the 3 years prior to that, 10, 8, 19.5. Now, I don't think he can flirt with 20 sacks again. He's going to be 30 this year, like CBS's Cody Benjamin alluded to. But if he plays 14, 15 games, can he give me 6 to 8 sacks? I think that's achievable. We'll see what happens with Barrett. Tampa's kind of in a funky spot right now. But if they want to clear some cap space, saving almost $15 million by releasing Shaq Barrett would do the trick. If he were to be cut, would you sign Shaq Barrett? Because, again, I would not trade for that contract. Type S for sign or P for pass. I would definitely like to sign Shaq Barrett if he were to become available. But what say you? S for sign, P for pass. Get your votes in down below. Now, could the Bears be staying in Chicago after all? This, of course, talking about their stadium situation. Well, there's a new report that Kevin Warren, Bears team president and CEO, who is in charge of this project, picking it up and hitting the ground running here. He's going to meet with new Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson in the coming days or weeks and talk about probably a variety of things, but potentially stadium options as well. Now, this tweet from Daniel Greenberg talking about Mark Gannis, who hopped on Mully & Haw, saying that Gannis, who's the president of Sports Corp, said on Mully & Haw that he has been told that Bears president and CEO Kevin Warren and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson have scheduled a sit-down meeting about a possible stadium site other than Soldier Field. Now, the meeting could cover a lot of ground. Number one, the Bears are going to play at Soldier Field for years to come, so repairing that relationship with the city a little bit more is a positive regardless, even if they don't stay in Chicago, don't stay at Soldier Field or get a new stadium within the city. So trying to repair that thing and, new mayor, new team president, I think that's makes sense to get those guys in the same room and just have a conversation. But if they were to talk about potential stadium options, whether it be staying at Soldier Field or finding another location in the city, hey, I think Kevin Warren should do his due diligence and see what options are out there, because the latest developments in this whole situation are, number one, Arlington Heights, which is still a clear favorite of where the Bears will end up. Apparently there's tax issues there. The Bears want to, maybe play leverage there and take calls from elsewhere. Naperville, one of those interested parties, their mayor has reportedly had a conversation with Kevin Warren, made a bit of a pitch perhaps. So we'll see if more nuggets come out from that. And then most recently, this meeting with Johnson that's going to take place from Kevin Warren. So look, this is what you want a new person that's in charge of something to do, right? Consider every option. You should not zero in on anything, right? Like if you're building a football team, you should not zero in on one free agent and not have a plan B. If you do that, you're going to get in trouble. So same is true when you're building a stadium. Same is true when you're running any kind of business. Be flexible. Keep your options open. That's what Kevin Warren is doing here. I certainly think that Arlington Heights is still the heavy favorite, barring a dramatic shift. I think the tax stuff will get worked out, and at the end of the day, the Bears are going to make so much money from building on that location, just with how many restaurants, businesses, hotels that they can build over there, that it's going to end up being a no-brainer. But again, leverage is smart, and considering that is certainly a good thing, I believe. Okay, so predict it for us, because look, I'm not going to say 2 years from now, because even if the Bears started building their stadium today, you're probably looking at 4 years minimum. But probably more like 5+. So I'll just say 10 years from now. Where will the Bears be playing? You can guess either stadium or city. I think it'll be Arlington Heights. I don't know what the stadium name will be. But if you think it's Soldier Field, if you think it's somewhere else in Chicago, maybe you think it's Naperville, maybe it's somewhere else. I don't know. Predict it for us in the comments. Where will the Bears be playing 10 years from now? All right, lots of news and rumors to cover there. Appreciate you guys for sticking with us as we continue to get you guys caught up on the latest headlines around this football team. My name is Harrison Graham. Subscribe for daily coverage, and we will continue to hit you guys with videos on a daily basis.